Well, it's autumn and our friend Costas, he gave us a huge bag of chestnut from his own trees. So we decided to make a nice creamy chestnut soup. And I have here a kilo of those chestnuts, which I think will match with the size of the recipe we're going to make today. First, we have to prep the chestnuts so that we can peel them. In order to do that, we need to sort of cut like a cross in them so they can open, and then we're going to either steam them or boil them, but I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Be careful, flat side down, because you have to apply a little bit of pressure. They are pretty hard, so make just like an incision. I don't know if you can see that, but there is like a, you see then, but you cannot peel them like this, so they go in a pan, and I'm going to open all of these. It's a little bit tedious, but what can I do? So I'll continue this, and when I've done all of them, I'll show you the next step. And the last one, but be careful with your fingers because they are tough to cut.
I should do that job.
No. She cuts off her fingers constantly. That's not a good idea. There are only a few left. So anyway, then we're going to add a little bit of water to the bottom of the pan. Not a lot, because we're going to steam them. You can also boil them and fully submerge them, but we're going to go with the steaming method here. So we crank that up to full, maybe a little bit more. And then we're going to put over a lid, and we're going to let them steam for 5 minutes, and then I'll show you how we deal with them. After 5 minutes, they look like this. Let me switch this off. Then they open up like that. Oh. That's what you want to see. And now we just want to let them just cool down a tad so we can touch them. But don't let them get cold, because then they get difficult to peel again. Now they have cooled down ever so slightly. So let me get my glasses on, because I can't see anything on without them. So
blind as a bat.
Blind as a bat. And then you see they peel relatively easy like this. You want to get rid of as much of the inner husk also, because that is bitter. So there's a little bit of fiddling with these, but look, they peel pretty okay. So you don't want to boil them too far, because then they become like mashed potatoes inside, and then it's completely impossible to do this. So just steam them.
You have to hit the sweet spot.
Nah,
not
exactly. And it doesn't matter if a little bit is left like this. So if that's what we are looking for, here they are, all of them. And trust me, if you're in a place where you can buy these ready, do it. This is tedious work. But of course, good things don't come easy. So we did it. But now the rest is basically easy, because now we're going to make a nice soup for our chestnuts to be boiled in. I have here a nice piece of smoked pancetta. You could use bacon or guanciale, but bacon, I prefer the pancetta. Now we want to cut this into cubes. So we basically, we cut it in strips like this, and then we just half them. And that way we're going to get these, let's call them strips, looks like this. But when we render out the fat, they're going to be nice little crispy bits. That's going to be good in our soup. So let me just cut this up, and then I'll show you what we're going to do. And when all of this is cubed up, we're going to add it to a cold pan. And that's important, because we want to start this up on medium-low, I would say, because you want to start the fat to render real slow. So we go like medium-low, and then we let it start slowly coming up to temperature. So we render out all the fat so that we get crispy, nice meat bits left. It's going to be good. So let that sweat out a bit. All the fat has rendered out, and these have taken to a very brown level, because for this application you want them to be really crispy to give that texture thing at the end. So now, and you see all the beautiful fat we have rendered out here? That's just gonna be good in the soup. So now we take these out and put them on some kitchen paper, paper towel, so that they get nice and dry. And I'm gonna repurpose this fat here to form the base of our soup. So out with our soup pot and just pour it in here. That's a lot of flavor there. I mean, you could do the pancetta in the pot, but it's just difficult to steer around down there. So that's why I prefer to do it in a pan and then transfer them like this. So there we are. Now we are ready to start our soup. The rest of the process is luckily pretty fast. But I don't have enough fat because the pancetta was quite lean actually. So I'm gonna give it a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, something like that. So we get a little bit more fat in here, which we need. And we're gonna fire this up on medium. And then we are gonna put in, this is 2 red onions, coarsely chopped. You could use shallots, you could do whatever, but don't spend your time chopping anything fine here because we are gonna blend it at the end because it's gonna be soup velouté. So there we go, in with our onions. And now we're gonna let them slowly sweat. And you don't want to do this on high heat because then you brown them, and that's not what we're looking for here. We want them to cook down, and actually we're probably gonna add a couple of tablespoons of water once in a while to let them boil down to become really soft without browning. So that's the plan. So yeah, we're gonna do that. Just a little bit of water. And now, as we have given our onions a head start here, so they softened up a bit, we're gonna create some space here in the middle. And then we're gonna go in with 2 cloves of garlic, minced. If you don't like garlic, don't use it. I think it is necessary here to get some good flavor. I love garlic, so just give that 20 seconds so that it just gets fragrant in the air here, nothing more. And then we mix that in. And we go in with 3 medium-sized carrots, coarsely chopped, 1 leek, also just coarsely chopped up, and then 3 stalks of celery, like this. And now we let that saute for a couple of minutes, maybe 5, something like that, just so it gets a little bit softened up. This is gonna be a nice vegetable base for our soup here. If you take out the pancetta, yeah, then it becomes vegan. These have been sweating for a bit, and everything smells delightful of leek and onion, and my wife is complaining, and it's perfect.
Just my eyes are burned.
Now we're gonna go in with a bit of masala wine. If you don't have that, you can use sherry or even port wine, something with a little bit of sweetness to it. And scientifically so, about a deciliter, I would say. Don't have to measure, just give it a good glug. And that would add a little bit of background and a little bit of sweetness, but not something that it becomes, you know, like super sweet. It will be a little bit in the background. And while that evaporates, the alcohol, black pepper, freshly cracked. We will probably give it some more at the end, and salt, because that helps the flavors to combine while it's cooking. And then we will adjust at the end, but definitely a good teaspoon and a half at this point. That changed the smell a lot. Now masala is a good cooking wine. Actually, we should make chicken masala again one time. We did that once.
That was a good recipe.
That's an excellent recipe, actually. It's almost as good as Marry Me chicken that we also did a couple of times. So now I'm gonna add, whoops, that hand was a little bit slippery, a liter of chicken stock. We are also gonna add some water because this is very condensed compared to chicken broth. If you use broth, then go only with broth, but this here is super condensed and really good. There is a link down below how to make that, by the way. It's a necessity in your pantry, your kitchen. And then I'm gonna give it half a liter of water for now. I might add extra a little bit later, but for now, half a liter. And then we're gonna reintroduce those ones. They make my nails hurt. So hopefully this is gonna get as good as all that work. So just in with those. And we're gonna bring this to a boil, and we are gonna let it simmer for about half an hour until the chestnuts, they smash easy against the side of the pot. So I'll bring this to a boil and let it simmer for half an hour, so see you then. a good 30 minutes. So let's see how we're doing on our chestnuts. Get this out of here. And then see how we're doing here.
It smells really nice.
It smells fantastic.
Yeah.
That's,
I'm looking forward to it.
I don't know if you can see that from the top camera, but this now the chestnuts they break up like nothing against the wall of the pot. So that's it. Off with that for now. We take it here, and then we're gonna go in and blend it. Obviously, you could also put it in your blender, pour it over in your Vitamix or whatever blender you have. I tend to like my immersion blender because it's much less cleanup afterwards. So in there, but be careful, it's hot. So then we start blending this up. And we're going to do that until we have a smooth, velvety consistency. I'll show you. And that looks good to me when everything is nice and smooth. Back in the heat, we switch it on again and we heat it up a little bit medium low again. And then we're going to add 400 milliliter of cream, not heavy cream. What is this, half?
Yeah, it was 12%.
Yeah, something like that. You don't want it too heavy for this, and you don't need that much because you want to add a bit of, well, creaminess to the soup, and you want to heat it up here just to the point of boiling. And then the only thing we're going to add is a bit of nutmeg. Here we are, just at the point of boiling. So that's what we want. We have perfect consistency. It's not too thick, it's not too thin. So let me just turn this down to very low. And then, oops, that was too low. Because I switched it off. Let me taste it now for salt and pepper. Definitely needs salt, that's for sure. And quite a lot actually. It needs a couple of good pinches here. Pepper, yes, absolutely. So we're going to give it some rounds of this also. Nice. And as I said, a bit of nutmeg. But don't overdo it because this can overpower. So you're going to give it some. There we are, like that. That's about enough. And let's get that stirred in. And then we do a final taste test. And by the way, forgot to mention, if you like this video, subscribe, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment what you want to see in next episodes. It helps us grow our channel. So if you help us, we help you. I'm curious to try this. Normally I'm not a very soupy kind of guy, but I'm looking forward to this because it smells good. So with a bit of our nice pancetta, it's gonna be interesting. The pancetta is gonna be good, I know. So. This is a nice appetizer to make for your next dinner party here in the autumn. It's perfect. It's really good. Has a, I don't know how to explain the flavor. It's not nutty, but it's really delicious, creamy, smooth, fantastic appetizer or a soup as a meal if you so want. But serve it with some crusty bread, and your guests, they're gonna love it. Fantastic recipe.